There has been so much news in the last week. It's coming at us from all angles. Numerous government officials are stepping up initiatives to clean up their area of the swamp. This video will briefly cover them, and there will be a series of links in the description for more comprehensive coverage of several of these actions. So let's get right into it. First, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced on August 28th that his department is launching an investigation into whether psychiatric medications, including selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs, and potentially those used in gender-affirming care, contributed to the student shootings by transgender Robin Westman at the Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis. Next, there are 4 top CDC officials who resigned amid tensions over vaccine policies and the ouster of CDC Director Susan Monares. Former officials are Dr. Deborah Howry, Chief Medical Officer and Deputy Director for Program and Science, Dr. Dimitri Daskalakis, Director of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases. Daskalakis thinks men can get pregnant and uses the phrase pregnant people. Dr. Daniel Jernigan, Director of the National Center for Emerging and Zoonotic Infectious Diseases, and Dr. Jennifer Layden, Director of the Office of Public Health Data, Surveillance and Technology. On August 22nd, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth fired Air Force Lieutenant General Jeffrey Cruz, the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Cruz, who had led the DIA since February 2024, was removed alongside 2 Navy admirals, Vice Admiral Nancy LaCour and Rear Admiral Milton Sands, as part of a broader purge of senior military and intelligence officials under the Trump administration. The Pentagon cited a loss of confidence which, of course, prompted critique. Deputy Director Christine Bourdin assumed the role of acting DIA director as we begin to drain the military-embedded swamp. You didn't think the corruption was just among politicians, did you? You've probably heard that Lisa Cook, the first Black woman to serve on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, was fired by President Donald Trump on August 25th in an unprecedented move citing allegations of mortgage fraud. She apparently falsified documents to secure favorable loan terms on properties in both Michigan and Georgia in 2021, before her Fed tenure. Cook filed a lawsuit on August 28th, arguing that Trump lacks the legal authority to remove her without sufficient for-cause grounds. Can you believe they think they are so entrenched in our money that they can commit crimes and remain in such positions of power? Legal experts say she will lose because President Trump has unilateral authority to fire her. This one could go to the Supreme Court and expose the Federal Reserve to transparency, finally, but game is on because just before releasing this video, the DOJ released that they had issued subpoenas to get evidence. I know I'd be worried if I were her. In Utica, New York, 36-year-old Nurto Muhammad was arrested on August 19th and charged with endangering the welfare of a child for failing to exercise due diligence in controlling her 11-year-old son, who was involved in multiple criminal acts. The boy has been linked to at least 4 felonies, including an armed robbery, a burglary resulting in 2 stolen vehicles, and setting a fire inside a Walmart, along with several misdemeanors. This could set a huge precedent by making parents responsible for their children's actions. On August 21st, Kendra Davis Briggs, a Biden-appointed associate judge of the D.C. Superior Court, ordered the release of 2 15-year-old teenagers charged with unarmed carjacking and assaulting Edward Big Balls Corristine, a government efficiency staffer. The teens were part of a group of about 10 juveniles who allegedly severely beat Corristine after he tried to stop an attempted carjacking of a woman's vehicle. This decision led to POTUS taking the matter into his own hands by federalizing police and deploying the National Guard to Washington, D.C., resulting in a 30-year low in crime in Washington, D.C. Trump is next vowing to clean up Chicago if officials don't, and they are freaking out. Ashley Babbitt's family filed a $30 million wrongful death lawsuit in January 2024, alleging negligence by Byrd and the Capitol Police. The Department of Justice reached a $5 million settlement in May 2025, though no admission of fault was disclosed. Some lawmakers, including President Donald Trump, have called for reinvestigation. During a meeting on August 19th, Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba informed Bill Gates that Japan would donate approximately 81 billion yen, or about $550 million over 5 years to Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, to support childhood vaccinations in developing countries. The pledge aligns with Japan's ongoing global health policy and collaboration with the Gates Foundation. So, heads up, Japan. Don't let your guard down. President Donald Trump revoked former Vice President Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection on August 28th, effective September 1st, 2025. Under federal law, former vice presidents are entitled to Secret Service protection for 6 months after leaving office, which for Harris ended on January 20th, 2025. However, President Joe Biden had signed an undisclosed executive memorandum before leaving office, extending Harris's protection for an additional year until January 2026. Trump canceled Biden's extension. Why would Biden extend her Secret Service protection beyond the law, and who was really using that auto pen? Perhaps everybody. On August 29th, the president posted on his Truth account that all tariffs are still in effect after a highly partisan appeals court incorrectly said that our tariffs should be removed, but they know the United States of America will win in the end. If these tariffs ever went away, it would be a total disaster for the country. It would make us financially weak, and we have to be strong. Tariffs were allowed to be used against us by our uncaring and unwise politicians. Now, with the help of the United States Supreme Court, we will use them to the benefit of our nation and make America rich, strong, and powerful again. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a bill into law on August 29th, aimed at flipping 5 United States House seats in the state in Republicans' favor amid a redistricting battle. Meanwhile, the Florida Department of Health will be ending all vaccine mandates. That doesn't mean just COVID mandates. It means all mandates, including the childhood schedule. It's a move that gives parents full autonomy over what goes into their children's bodies. This will make Florida the first state to commit to eliminating all vaccine mandates, breaking a decades-long tradition of requiring kids to be up to date on their shots to attend public school. It's a complete nightmare for the vaccine industry, which has enjoyed decades of near-universal compliance from parents. But that all changed after COVID. Parents no longer trust public health, and the COVID reckoning is finally here. Cornell University encouraged its staff and students to hate Israel and fixate on skin color. And after the Trump administration froze $1 billion in funding, the university is feeling the pain. President Donald Trump announced on Monday that he will award Rudy Giuliani, the former New York City mayor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, America's highest civilian honor. This decision follows Giuliani's recent car crash injuries and highlights his legacy as a crime fighter and post-9/11 leader. On September 1, 2025, former President Donald Trump publicly questioned the success of Operation Warp Speed, the COVID-19 vaccine program he launched in 2020, demanding that pharmaceutical giants like Pfizer release withheld data on vaccine efficacy. Supporting incoming Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Trump's call for transparency stems from suspicions of deception, potentially exposing hidden information and reshaping public trust in vaccines amid widespread social media backlash and divided opinions. U.S. Attorney Janine Ferris-Pirro announced the largest seizure of methamphetamine precursor chemicals in U.S. history, intercepting over 300,000 kilograms of benzyl alcohol and N-methylformamide shipped from China to the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico. The operation, conducted at the Port of Houston, prevented the production of nearly 190,000 kilograms of methamphetamine, with an estimated street value of $569 million. Trump canceled Section 8 housing benefits to 100,000 undocumented aliens and warned them if they are caught housing an illegal alien, this will also get their Section 8 money canceled. Yesterday, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stood up to a bunch of Democratic senators during a Senate Finance Committee hearing over his aggressive reforms at the CDC. He defended firing officials and reclassifying COVID-19 vaccines amid a chronic disease crisis affecting 76.4% of Americans. He really laid it all out, and I'll be doing a full video on this amazing statement that he made. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis announced plans to eliminate all childhood vaccine mandates in the state, making Florida the first in the U.S. to end such requirements. The federal government, under RFK Jr., has taken steps to align with this approach, with Kennedy announcing the end of COVID-19 vaccine mandates and funding cuts for certain vaccine developments, signaling potential federal support for reducing vaccine mandates. The Trump administration opened Louisiana Lockup, a new ICE detention facility at the Louisiana State Penitentiary, also known as Angola Prison, to house over 400 undocumented immigrants convicted of serious crimes like murder and drug trafficking. The facility has been dubbed Camp 57. Kristi Noem also posted on X that Alligator Alcatraz will stay open, and so will our promise to remove every violent, criminal, illegal alien from our country. On September 2nd, the U.S. military conducted a drone strike in the southern Caribbean, destroying a speedboat carrying drugs from Venezuela, killing 11 members of the Tren de Aragua gang. Epstein victim Chante Davies just publicly named Bill Clinton as a Lolita Express passenger, while claiming he and other notable names were clients in the Epstein Island exploitation. Okay guys, stay tuned for the next Veiled Truths for a quick rundown on the recent news.